Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is
Waalaikumsalam
colleagues
warahmatullahi
in the Zoom can heard my voice?
Yes.
Okay, so I will continue. Good morning, distinguished guests, colleagues, and participants, both joining us online and those here in person. It's a pleasure to welcome you to today's event. I'm Dita Mishara from the Research Center for Applied Zoology, who will be the MC today. Today's seminar topic is forest insect research in Indonesia. This seminar is the beginning of collaboration research between Indonesia, BRIN, and Brawijaya University with University of Florida. Before we begin, allow me to walk you through to today's agenda. First is the opening remarks from the head of organization Research of Life Sciences, BRIN, Dr. Andes Hammurabi Rozak. After that, we have two session agenda. First is online seminar with our speakers, Professor Dr. Jiri Holzer from University of Florida, Professor Dr. Hagustano from University of Brawijaya, and Professor Dr. Rosichan Ubaidillah from Research Center for Biosystematic and Evolution, and Bapak Priyanto Rohmatullah from Bapenas. And after the seminar, Q&A session will be open for online. Okay. After the seminar, Q&A session will be open for online participants. The online seminar and Q&A session will be moderated by Dr. Titi Kartika from Research Center for Applied Zoology. And then second session is the focus group discussion, which is reserved for in-room participant only. The FGD will be moderated by Bapak Raden Pramesa Narakusumo from Research Center for Biosystematics and Evolution. After the FGD, we will have lunch break, and the session will continue with discussion for collaboration research between the stakeholders. That wraps up our agenda outline for today. Without further ado, we are honored to begin our session with the opening remarks from the head of Organization Research of Life Sciences BRIN, Dr. Andes Hammurabi Rozak. The floor is yours.
And friends from Indonesia, especially for all our keynote speakers of the Jawa from BRIN, from Research Center for Biosystematics and Evolution, Priyanto dari Koordinasi Nasional Konservasi dan and then Professor Susarno from Brawijaya University, terus Professor Jiri from University of Florida. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Salam sejahtera bagi kita. First, for me, it's a pleasure to welcome you to this important webinar where we come together here to strengthen our scientific collaboration. Knowledge activity on one of the most pressing cultural challenges about forest research in Indonesia. Particularly, I think we will talk about the unraveling the story of Afro-Islamic because we will talk about the rules and different strategies and science. So we did not link it with INSAP convention on biodiversity. In terms of collaboration between the United States, for example, I think our position Indonesia with it reaches topic of rainforest and also the United States with vast and diverse rainforests are united not only by our commitment to protecting natural resources, but also by our belief that science and cooperation are powerful tools to solve the global problem. In recent years, both countries, Indonesia and the United States, have experienced the growing threat posed by forest insects, whether maybe native species becoming more aggressive due to climate change, for example, or maybe invasive species splitting rapidly and outpacing the traditional competitors. So these insects do not recognize the cytational populations. Their effect can be seen in declining tree population, changing forest composition, and disruption on the ecosystem that provide clean air, fresh water, and also livelihood. And as you know, forest insects are associated with food borers, pollinators, and also like ecologically and economically damage. So in Indonesia, for example, this impact are felt particularly in the plantation forest, and maybe some conservation areas. And in the United States, for example, in Thailand landscape, the reading have been transformed by invasive pests such as bevel, spur, and gizmo. So this safe change calls for safe solution. This is why our meeting here, our teaching collaboration, our collaboration is starting by bringing together Indonesian and American researchers, not only Indonesian, but from Australia, we have long collaboration. For example, from Anthony the Virus Project, Indonesia, and also surrounding country. So we are building a platform for knowledge exchange and research, capacity building, and so I think we will provide it. So we have some scale to support the kind of joint research, knowledge exchange, capacity building. So together, I think we can develop a deeper understanding of insect ecology, improve early detection and monitoring techniques, and set advance in biological control and explore integrated pest management strategies that are ecologically sound and locally adapted. So let me also emphasize that the value of this collaboration is partnership beyond the scientific audience. So this collaboration represents the spirit of our mutual respect and learning. So Indonesian researchers bring unique insight into topic of forest dynamics or traditional knowledge, and also conservation practice in technological innovation. So when we combine these strengths, I think the result can be transformative, not only for our forest right now, but also for our future generation. So in this spirit, I encourage all of us to actively engage, ask questions, share information, share assumptions, and build the trust and networks that make international collaborative. Let this not be a one-time event, but the beginning of a long-term partnership that continues to grow and adapt, just like the forest is integrated to our pusat 2008 riset tahun 2008 yang sudah tentang systematic evolution, who have made this collaboration possible. Our work, I think, behind the scenes, what makes our work here to be meaningful. Thank you, and let us begin this journey together with curiosity, commitment, and shared vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Bapak Ines, for the opening remarks. Now let's begin our seminar. I'd like to hand over to our moderator for the first session, Dr. Titi Kartika, who will be guiding us through today's discussion. Over to you, Dr. Titi.
Okay. Thank you, Dita. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Titi Kartika from Research Center for Applied Zoology, BRIN. Today, I will be the moderator of this session the presentation session that we will have 4 presenters. And before we go into the presentation, I would like to give a overview of this webinar. This webinar is hoping to get brought together the scientists, forest managers, and research institutions from Indonesia and the US to explore opportunities to collaborative research on forest insect with special focus on bark beetle and also ambrosia beetle. These insects are of growing concern due to the role as both native decomposer and also as invasive pests. So before, to get more understanding about the this forest insects, so we will listen to the presentation from 4 speakers with different aspects. So I will introduce. So for first speaker, we have Professor Jiri Hoser. He is the professor from School of Forest Resources and Conservation, University of Florida. And the second is Professor Agus Tarno from Faculty of Agriculture, University of Brawijaya. And the third one is Professor Dr. Rasifan Ubaidillah from BRIN. And the last one is Mr. Priyanto Matullah from Bappenas. So for this session, I will inform you the rules that after this presentation from 4 speakers, we will have like a short Q&A. So because of the limited time, we only provide you for 2 questions only. Yeah, unfortunately we cannot make a more discussion because of the time. But if you have any curiosity and question, so you can address to us and we can deliver to the speaker. Okay. For first speaker, I will read a short CV. The Professor Jiri Hoser graduated from 2 university, so he got 2 doctoral degree from Michigan State University and University South Bohemia Czech Republic, both in entomology. So he got a simultaneous superdoctoral degree, and his expertise is in systematic ecology and symbiosis of insect and fungi, and he has published more than 150 peer-reviewed research papers, extensive papers, book and chapter, and so on. And at the moment, Professor Jiri, maintaining the world's largest collection of cryopreserves of ambrosia beetles and bark beetles. So it is a good chance for us to get more understanding about his dedication in this field. So the title of presentation is Indonesia's Role in the Global Research on Forest Insect. So for Professor Jiri, please, use your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Selamat pagi. Presentation go? That'll be great. And I wanted to thank, first of all, Dr. Andes. You said it all. I can go home right now. I really appreciated your thoughtful and very comprehensive introduction, actually. And I like how you ended with trust. That's really important. And that's essentially why we are all here, to maintain more of that. Good, thank you. And if you can actually present the mode. Almost. it's the right screen. See the mouse. Some patience, please. Magic. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So, hello again. Thank you for hosting this meeting. Thank you for hosting me here. And my name is Yuri, as you have heard. And I'm coming from the University of Florida, where I run the Forest Entomology Lab. But today we'll be talking about Indonesia and the collaboration between Indonesian and American partners. Can I test this out? Well, it's here, but not there. Okay, here we go. It may be very slow. Is it possible? It's gonna be very slow. Sorry about that. I don't know why. But long story short, I will start with several stories. And the first story is about a cargo shipped to Georgia, this town of Savannah, sometime in 2000. From a little wooden pallet, a little beetle came out. You've heard stories like that before, I'm sure. Turned out it was the red bay ambrosia beetle, which back then was barely known to science. And the symbiotic fungus of this beetle was not known to science at all. And what happened after that was this. Some of you may have heard of a disease called laurel. They were everywhere in the Southeast United States, and the disease essentially wiped them out. It was one of the fastest spreading tree mortality events that we know in the history. Very quickly colonizing the entire southern United States. And avocado is also a laurel. This is what South Florida avocado. Now, it's a big damage in Florida when avocados die. Florida produces about 21,000 tons of avocado a year. Do you know how much avocado does Indonesia produce? It is much more. It is many times more. Now, my question to you is, what happens? Sorry, some technical challenges over there. Thank you. What happens if the beetle comes to Indonesia? Do we have a plan? We as the community of tree health professionals. And what if it's already here somewhere? The delay between an invasive species arrival and impact can be quite a few years during which there's a buildup of population. That would be a very big loss. So my first take-home message is invasive species can be really devastating. You all know that. We'll have a couple of lessons like that throughout the workshop. More important than just that fact, which all you know, is that entomologists need to know about these threats before they arrive, so that we can be ready. So the government agencies can be ready. So we all work together in a proactive fashion. I'll tell you another story. This is an aerial photo of a pine plantation in Florida, where I live and work. What's wrong with it? There's a problem there. You see the problem? Right. There are a lot of trees dying. These pines are all red and brown, and they're dying. The reason is two species of bark beetles called the black turpentine beetle and the southern pine beetle, one of the most important, economically most important forest pests in the Southeast US. Now, that's what they do. They use very sophisticated pheromone communication to coordinate their arrival on tree and overwhelm the tree defenses, and the tree dies. Now, let's switch a continent. What is this? That's not Florida pine. Can someone recognize this? Yes, exactly. This is Pinus mercusi, the Sumatran pine, of which just in Java only, there's apparently 900,000 hectares of plantings. What if these beetles show up here? Again, are we ready? Are we aware of this threat? Are Indonesian foresters aware of the need to monitor and report sudden mortality? Do we have a response plan? We all could really work on that. One of the important things is that there's a number of international treaties to which Indonesia is a signatory, including ICPM 17, where the contracting parties have the obligation to report pests in a short version. Now, would an Indonesian entomologist be able to report and even recognize these insects? My lesson number 2 here really is that it would be great to increase pest surveillance in Indonesia. It's a huge country. You have an incredible country, incredibly diverse, incredibly big. There's a lot to protect in this crazy time. I'll go back to wait a little. I think there's an announcement somewhere here, but that is. We talked about the southern pine beetle and the turpentine beetle and the loblolly pine. And the question that I want to ask now, why are these outbreaks so big? What is happening right now with these forests that we have these big outbreaks? Is it maybe, sorry, it's not really showing.
Delay.
Okay. Maybe it's just a really bad delay. Is the reason climate change, do you think? Turns out not really, because Florida being a subtropical and really buffered by the seas isn't suffering the effect of climate change in the forest yet. Is it perhaps that the sun pine beetle is invasive? It's not, it's native. The beetle is native, the pine is native. So why now? What's happening with these stands suddenly? The trees are planted too dense. Yes, that is the reason. The reason is people changed the forests. This never used to happen before plantations. And now these are some of the largest outbreaks in the history. Again, plantations, as you all know, are not really forests. They are agriculture, and they are really susceptible to many different stressors, such as fungal diseases, tree competition, and there's very little biological buffer to provide the natural biocontrol. Plantations are important, certainly, but as forests are replaced by plantations, forest pest outbreaks also increase. So that's lesson number 3. Let's go to another story here, and that's called Eualacia destruens, from the word destroy. That is, does anybody know this species? I always know it. Yeah. Before we talk about the beetle, let me take you back about half a year to October, when our colleagues at University of Brawijaya and us organized a nice workshop. We went to the field to look at forest pests and to workshop where we taught a lot of people. I'm sure some of you know a lot of these folks. It was amazing, super helpful to everyone, I think. And we found this in a pine. This is Pinus mercusi, Sumatran pine. A big hole full of beetles. Turns out this was Ewolacea destruens, a beetle that is historically known to be one of the most important pests in tea plantations in Indonesia. It's native here. And it's a crazy beetle because it lives in living trees. We don't know how that works, but it lives in living trees. Turns out we now have observed it in pines too, which no one has reported before. Even of this very short trip, it was, like a trip to the university garden, essentially, we find new pest-host relationships. It was amazing. The problem with Ewolacea destruens is that there are many of them. It's a complex of species. They're all very, very similar. And the only person who can tell them apart right now is Dr. Sarah Smith, the only person on the planet who can tell these things apart. She works at the Michigan State University, a very good colleague of ours and many of us here. Now, the problem is that she can't really collaborate with people in Indonesia on identifying the samples because we don't really have an established specimen exchange. So another lesson here is that diagnosing pests requires international cooperation. The collection here in Brain is really incredible. I was actually really impressed when Pak-san introduced me to the collection, and it was really remarkable. You have lots and lots of samples to compare pests to, but not all. And some of them are old, and some of the classification is outdated. So we really do require international collaboration. And unfortunately, well-meaning regulations really prevent that at this time. So some of that should also be addressed as we continue our collaboration. But it's not all bad. And in this other part of my presentation, I wanted to present some interesting stories to you. Indonesia is home to incredible bark beetles. You all know that the most interesting insects in the world live here, right? Giant moths and butterflies and rhinoceros beetles and whatever. But bark beetles too, little ones, but they're really incredible. Like this one, for example. This one is called Dactylopithecus. It's a dinosaur among bark beetles. It's really big. And it's really amazing. Nobody knows how it, except we know that from the top, it's the same. Into the head of the beetle, what is that? Exactly. That's where the beetle carries its symbiotic fungi. But it's not an ambrosia beetle. Nobody has actually really observed how it lives in the wild. We don't know how we don't really know what the larvae eat. We know it doesn't make the regular galleries like ambrosia beetles, and it's a really large beetle. Another example is this strange thing. So this beetle is, besides being very fuzzy, it's kind of boring looking. But what is this here? This is a male of the same bark beetle. This thing is called Ozopemon, and it has the most bizarre reproduction probably among animals. The male never really fully develops. It remains like a larva, and it has these big mandibles, probably to fight off other males. And his only role in life is to fertilize his sisters. It never comes out from its native gallery. And it's only the females that fly around and infect new trees. Nobody is studying these right now. We have no idea about their genetics, about how they live together. We can't even, there are lots of them. In the collection, there are lots of them from various traps, so they're really around. But we don't know how to find them in the forest. We don't know how to study them. And who knows what mysteries of genetics these things have. Isn't that crazy? What is this even? A bulldozer or something? It's a genus of ambrosia beetles called Cyclorhynchidia. The males look like that. Where is his head? Left or right? The head is under, actually. This is the pronotum that looks like a bulldozer, and it uses it to plug up the gallery, the tunnels, against other males. Anyway, my point here is that Indonesia is home to incredible diversity of parthenobourgeois beetles, more than anywhere else in the world. And they deserve studying just on their own merit, just because they're really incredible animals that don't live anywhere else. Now, here's another interesting dimension of that. This is not in Indonesia. This is me in Germany, in Berlin, in a museum, studying bark beetles. There's an old collection with lots of material there. A lot of that from Indonesia, from old bad times. Now, the problem is that most species of bark beetles from Indonesia are actually not here. They're distributed around the world in foreign museums. And that is a problem at a time when we need to document the remaining biodiversity really urgently before it disappears, and do it together in collaborative fashion. So I'm going to quickly summarize my points here. One is that the threat of invasive pests is real. Plantations are more vulnerable than native forests. We really need to increase surveillance in Indonesia. And for that, we need international collaboration with streamlined regulation. Your bark beetles are incredible. I'm just blown away whenever I study them. And unfortunately, Indonesia's natural heritage is becoming endangered, including what we used to think of as pests. Many of them are actually now rare. So, what do I mean by this image? I would like to that a lot of entomology, that entomologists or scientists of all kinds, biodiversity, and do the research back home. We don't want to do that anymore, right? That's just not right. Instead, what we're here for, the whole point of us being here, is mutually beneficial collaboration that brings benefit to all parties. And so for that reason, we already restarted last year a collaboration between University of Florida and University of Brawijaya. And we would love to work with folks at Bryn as well. And it has to be mutually beneficial, otherwise it doesn't work. And I, again, recognize the past problems that happened and want to be very explicit about the fact that that's not the goal here. What do we mean by collaboration? Many things. We actually started many, many years ago. This is 10 years ago. This is my, back then he was a young student. Now he doesn't even have hair yet, but now he doesn't have hair on his head anymore. Andrew Johnson. He's an Englishman, but born in Indonesia, and he was working with Pachygus back then in the field. So we go back many years. Now we are restarting this starting last October when we did a bark beetle workshop at Brawijaya. And this is what it looked like. It was a really well-organized event. Thank you again. It was fantastic. And it really allowed us to also go into the field and do a lot of really interesting learning and studying and so on. And we found really important new species, such as this is Dinoplatypus. Dino like a dinosaur, platypus like a beetle that has flat feet. And we found out that they go in living trees, into living trees. So that is a really important biosecurity fact that has never been published. And we found new species, of course. This is a student of Pachygus, and essentially we did a lot of training of students, even in the few days that we managed to be there. So for me, at least, passing down the knowledge and the biosecurity capacity is, I would say, 50% of my interest in this collaboration. I would really love to continue doing that and engaging students. So we are maybe yes. The first one scientific publication is right now in its final stage, and it's intercepted at the University of Brawijaya properties. And it's not just the checklist. The probably most important part of it is the description of several new species, including a species that's called, there it is. Look how crazy it looks. It looks like somebody took a knife and cut it off, but it's up the hole. Amasa brawijaya. And also there's another species, Cosmoderes arjuno, named after the mountain on which it was named, on which it was found. This is also an interesting species because it actually goes into Chayote squash, a plant, vegetable of all things, that is not even native, that came from South America. So here's again this mixing of the world biota. And you can find a new species of bark beetle on a vegetable in Indonesia. We have another publication that we're potentially invasive on the Sumatran pine, the sun pine beetle, the black turpentine beetle, and many other cases of American beetles that your entomologist should probably know, or at least have a chance to compare. Plus the new species. These are holotypes, the ones with the red labels, those are holotypes, meaning those are the name-bearing specimens. So those are now going to be the first bark beetles holotypes deposited in the breed collection. These yellow ones are the heritypes, so essentially like a secondary copy. And okay, anyway, among them are the three that I just mentioned, the new species, and they're all now living in Britain. Here's the famous moment yesterday. Thank you for somebody to do the photo. I think maybe. So again, glad to start the truly mutually both ways specimen exchange, because it's really important. Another part of the collaboration is this workshop for a biosecurity workshop at Britain. So today we're going to be talking about binational collaboration priorities. We'll discuss funding. We're going to be hoping to talk about potential agreements. And tomorrow we're going out into the woods, into the real forest, because my observation is that if we show people these insects in the real world, it really changes people's perception to understand they're everywhere. They're really everywhere. It's just sometimes hard to find. Another collaborative event that we're planning is what we call a summer school of ambrosia symbiosis. This is a month from now at the University of Florida. So we are organizing a workshop, the goal of which would be to teach participants about cutting-edge research on insect-fungus relationships. A lot of these insects don't do damage by themselves. They spread fungus around, symbiotic fungi. How to do research on these fungi is not trivial. There's a lot of publications out there that are wrong. And we have to really use the best practices to do that, to identify how these organisms are related, because it's not really easy. And most importantly, at least for me, the most important thing is solidifying collaborations, again, between Indonesia and Florida. And several of you are coming. Thank you so much. I'm happy to support some of you, the more important people. So actually, in fact, I wonder if we could, no, we'll skip that. So just closing that, we no longer want to do the bad type of science. We are very serious about collaborative research. Our goal is training students, organizing workshops, joint publications, specimen exchange, hosting brain researchers at UF, and hopefully working together on the regulatory part of collaboration. So I'm seriously hoping that it's going to be a three-part collaboration. Thank you so much. I will be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you for Professor Jiri for the incredible presentations. We are very happy to have you here. So after this, we have a second presenter. So please.
Very good. Yes, we'll be here all day, so we can continue discussing with the day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Okay, for the second presenter is we go to the Mr. Priyanto Romatullah from Bappenas, being the second presenter. Because we see the topic is we would like to see the invasive species so related with the Jiri. Let's talk about it. So are you? Is it ready for presentation? Okay, no problem. I'm sorry for this accidentally change. Okay, so before going to the presentation, so I would like to introduce Pak Priyanto Romatullah. He is the Director of Environment at Bappenas, National Development Planning Agency. So at the moment, the title of the presentation is about the target nasional IPSAP dalam pengendalian dan pengelolaan jenis asing invasif. So presentasi akan dibaca di dalam bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa Inggris ya? Bahasa Inggris, oke. Baik, untuk waktunya mungkin sekitar 20 menit ya Pak ya. Please use your time efficiently. Pak Priyanto, silakan.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, gentlemen. I am As you may aware that almost 70% of the world crop production in our insect pollination.
Excuse me, Pak Prianto, suaranya bisa di-unmute sepertinya. Ya, maksudnya masih mute. Soalnya tidak terdengar di Zoom di meeting.
Yeah, now please don't who say you can read my question. Okay. Others is as you see on the screen that the insect also have big potential that solve food. So why not? I think some community resources also they have some farm of this kind of. Then of course it will be good for our economy. But now we also thinking about how to manage the bioeconomy, so as bio perspective, how our biodiversity will be. So now on the food, you may see that on medicine, pharmaceutical have more than 10% of the insect also now threatened. Is actually we have to see more theory about this one. And in plant insect population, I think also threaten other species. So when we talk the insect people, we can economy, but we have also to look the insect also can benefit from the. So the next slide, I think this is talking about the threats for what Professor mentioned. We also have the threat of disease. What are there are species. It's also found in itself. This whole actually native woods recorded in West Sumatra now spread massively in Jawa. So this were serious damage in maize plant. Of course, it will be also causes. So, in the other hand, we take a note that this process is not yet estimated. The infestation of this insect has the potential to cause the losses to almost 20 billion tons wanted around 6.2. So we can see that this invasive insect also. Next slide, I think talking about the industrial insects here, that biodiversity. So I think so many invasive insects here. And we agree about I know that this one here also the big pattern there. others, I think, not only for the insect or the, we also recorded some classic plant species also make it harmful for our so I would like, I don't want to each one. They have a
species, they also indicate there is with the
I'm sorry, Bapak Prianto, because of the technical meeting, so can we just make a break at the moment? Because the audience cannot get the voice and also they cannot get the presentation slide in their Zoom. We are very sorry for this technical meeting. Yeah. Yeah, can we just make a break first for a few minutes? Yeah. Sorry.
Just want to
Okay.
finish from slide on okay. So we have the next year also strategy on
Thank you very much for Mr. Pak Priyanto for the presentation. Yeah, we are really sorry. Yeah, we are really sorry for the technical problem in this meeting. So we are very sorry for the audience that we cannot share the slide presentation. But basically, the presentation from Pak Priyanto is about we need to concern about the biodiversity because biodiversity is now becoming important concern in from the government. So we need to increase our awareness of the surveillance of insect in order to control the invasive species and so on. So that's all in the presentation from Pak Priyanto. Yeah, thank you very much for Pak Priyanto for the presentation, nice presentation. Please give applause. Okay, before going to the next presenter, Pak Habus. So we need to check the audience and also the slide before. So I will introduce him first. Professor Dr. Agriculture Science Engineer Agus Tarno is the professor from Faculty of Agriculture, University of Brawijaya, and he got doctor from Kyoto University, Japan, in the field study on environmental science and technology, or entomology. So he got the master and undergraduate program at University of Brawijaya in plant protection and entomology. So now he has expertise in plant protection, entomology, and mostly in forest and agriculture. He has published many research papers, books, and intellectual properties. And now he is active in many organizations and several community service activities as senior expert and also team leader. So at the moment, he will present the presentation. The title is Building Network to Support Forest Biodiversity in Indonesia. So for Pak Agus, please use your time wisely. Yeah. Okay, please, we need to check first. Wait a moment. Pak masih di ya, silakan Pak.
Yeah, his name is Karniwan Puji Wicaksono, but we call Sony. We don't know why, but it's okay. It's the good nickname, I think. So Pak Sony actually belong to the botany and also landscape ecology. So we collaborate intensively when we do assessment on the landscape. And in case of me, I focus on the insect and the method, but in case of Pak Sony, focus on the trees and then plants. Okay, let's continue with the next slide. Yeah, Pri already mentioned about why our ecosystem service is essential. There are 4 things that we have to consider. The first one is about provisioning services, because ecosystem can provide many things related with the food, water, etc. And then also ecosystem also provides such kind of regulating services. Examples about pollinations and then erosion control, water purification, plant nutrition, and so on. And also another things we can find easily in ecosystem about supporting services such as the soil formation, recycling, and the most important one is the cultural services. now become very popular among several areas in Indonesia, because we have also forest wisata, forest tourism, and then agricultural tourism, etc. Okay, next. This is just one of the examples about how ecosystems are essential, because they provide economic values to the people around that area. Okay, next is why the forest biodiversity matters. Indonesia is recognized as one of the world mega biodiverse nations, with the forest supporting an extraordinary range of the flora and fauna. In the forest, the forest hosts 30,000 plus of the species of plants and 1,000 of endemic animals. And another thing is related with carbon storage, water regulation, cultural spiritual values, etc. also become very, very important in the forest biodiversity. Indonesia, in the life cycle, we can see that Indonesia become, okay, next, Indonesia become the second biggest countries that have global biodiversity index after Brazil. Okay, next. Yeah. Insects. Yes. So that is the reason why we have to put the insect over there, right? If I show insect, it's finished. It's okay. And forest biodiversity in Indonesia face a multiple interlinked trait. We can see here there are several things that we have to consider when about deforestation and land use change. And then invasive species already mentioned about the Bakri and also forest pest by Professor Jiri. And climate change also briefly mentioned by Bakri. And another thing is the fragmented conservation effort. It's the most common happen in Indonesia, because we are working by ourselves. We never consider to invite several people or institutions to join with us. We just focus on ourselves. So it's not good. So there's a reason why fragmented conservation effort appear in Indonesia. So we mentioned this condition should be the weak coordinations, and also limited enforcement and adequate community involvement, and also hinder effective biodiversity protections. So from this viewpoint, we need to consider that the fragmented conservation effort need to be reduced, and we have to collaborate with others. Okay, next. Next. This one already mentioned also by Pak Pri about ecoregion in Indonesia. So previously, Jiri already mentioned about in West Papua. Jiri mentioned that Jiri got many species, unique species, but when Jiri visit Java and several places in Indonesia, Jiri didn't find same species that he find from the West Papua. So maybe this is the reason why there are differences between several places in Indonesia. We have a Willis line, and we have a Weber line, and also we have Lydekker lines. So from this viewpoint, Indonesian flora and fauna close to be affected by two poles. First one is ASEAN poles, and the second one is Australia poles. Okay, next. Building is important. So this is the objective of the network. The first one is promote collaboration and communication. The second one is build the local capacity and training. Jiri did many things, focus on promotion and also building up the local capacity and training. Another thing that we have to consider about the influence of biodiversity in the leadership policy. Hopefully, Director of Environment and Ministry of Bagnas also can involve to support these things, and also transparent in green also. Another thing is about to monitor biodiversity and respond to the trade. This is important. mostly we just talk about the trade, but we never think about the monitoring. So monitoring was important if we want to decide many things. Okay, next. This just example of a key stakeholder in Indonesia. We have many part. We have a government. In the government, we have Ministry of the Forestry now split between Environment, Ministry of Environment and Forestry. So we have Ministry of Forestry, and then we also have Ministry of Environment. And also we have Badan Karantina, Indonesia Plant Quarantine. Then we also have Bapenas, that's mostly working on the designing of the policy and also action plan and strategy. And in addition, also we have academia. We put the print belong to the academia because they mostly working on the research, etc. So really almost similar with university, similar with universities. We have many universities in Indonesia, so I think it's better for us not only working with one university, but it's better for us to distribute our collaboration with several universities in several areas in Indonesia. And also we have many NGOs in Indonesia. Communities also, they have to involve in these things. And also we need to invite private sector because many things also can be supported by them. And the last one is the most important is funding. And commonly funding, currently funding is supported by international farmers. In example, we are glad now because we have Madeline here. Hopefully, Madeline can give suggestions. Maybe the next session maybe have in-depth discussion about collaboration and also hopefully Sarah can help us to facilitate our project. Okay, next. FAO is quite difficult because maybe FAO goes to the USAID project, right? But it's okay. Another thing is related with the component of networks. An effective network should be built upon the several key component that would have to be synergistically on biodiversity monitoring hub and then forest hub, task force, community forest alliance, and policy working groups. Okay, next. We also have several tools and activities in Indonesia. Currently, we have a workshop and biodiversity training, and we have a journalism and citizen science. And then we have application or GIS for forest monitoring. We have also we have a database related with biodiversity linked to the Sea Montana clinics. Yes. We have Sea Montana system monitoring hutan national, but this is not so. I don't know precise about the insect in book or not because we are from the entomologists. Hopefully, insect also improving. Okay, next. This one is challenges and opportunities. There are several challenges actually, but we put on these several things. First one is fragmented data. We mentioned already before, and then limited local capacity, weak coordinations. And case opportunities actually now become very popular among environmentalists because ecosystem service now finances. An example, carbon trading, etc. And also another opportunities is remote sensing and AI tools. It's very helpful for us. Another thing is what the local press mentioned. Okay, next. Okay, next. Is now starting to enter the insect. I just want to inform all of you that actually when I studied PhD in Keele University, I'm focused on Platypus corpulus, different species with this one, and Jimmy already mentioned about forest pests, and then forest pests contribute to make Japanese forest declining significantly. It's not only pine wilt disease, that facilitated by Busacalincus and also Monocamus, but also another important species, pest species is Platypus cercivorus, Spilobacus cercivorus. And also Jerry already mentioned about how they communicate each other and how about the role of the male, role of the female, etc. Now we just talk about our problems. Yeah. Just 2013, maybe start from 2012 or 11, when just after graduate from the Kyoto, then I visited my hometown and I found many dying trees in Malang City and also several regency and cities in East Java. And many times I and several students working on that, and then we found it's only this one of the most popular species that commonly appear in uh, in the angsana trees dying insects. Okay, next. We call this one is a Valus parallelus. Okay, it's actually not native from Indonesia. It's native from South America. Okay, next. So also, this Platypus also have almost a similar things when we compare with the Platypus carnivores. They also collaborate with several fungi, Ambrosia fungi, and we just identify morphologically at that time. We found several things, but maybe still there are remaining fungi we cannot identify at that time. Okay, female beetle born into the living or recently failed the tree to create the coverage. It's almost the same. The initiation stage conducted by male beetle find the suitable host tree, and then after that male beetle release aggregation pheromone, and the pheromone can attract many individual of the Lucia beetle, male and female. And after finding the suitable trees, then uh, female beetle continue to make tunnel. And also they have a symbiotic Ambrosia fungus as a food source for the larvae. The next. And also this is the one of the mechanism that can make the dye freeze. However, sometimes in Japan, actually they have mass attack. So they can attack with a huge number of Ambrosia beetles, and then it can make many holes. And finally, it's very easy. Within 1 or 2 days, become dying immediately because of a mass attack. But we cannot find same condition in Indonesia. Okay, next. This one, the host plant in Indonesia is the most important. Is the most important plant trees in Indonesia. Is angsana tree. I love this. I love these trees because I found many ambrosia beetle from here, especially Euphrates parallels. Okay, so please inform me if you found angsana in your location and your hometown is from me, and I need to.
I didn't find myself, but I wanted to react when you mentioned that you haven't found a mass attack scenario in Indonesia. Remember in Changar,
Mhm.
there were these trees at the entrance, they were mass attacked by the cross-tarsus.
Mhm.
We don't know why.
Mhm.
It does have some use.
So it means many hole appear there. Oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yeah. So maybe we need to check this one, right? Yeah. So I don't know, maybe that one also happened in Indonesia. Okay, next. Impacts, of course, it's related with economic viewpoints. And then the second, okay, next is also related with ecological viewpoints. And then next, it also related with the biosecurity. This is the most important that we have to consider. And then, okay, continue. Yes. Okay. Okay, let's continue this report that we published already. Start from 2014, we report that the report was always appear in March. Okay, next. This is the sign and also symptoms. So we can see there manifold and also frost appear, and we can see also in the sea, the angsana trees become dying and there is no leaf there. Almost all leaf fallen down, and then it's very easy for us to detect them. Okay, that one. Next. Management strategies, many. Okay, next. Again, next. Okay. Wood quarantine and inspection at the port is important. Done quarantine, working very hard on these things. Inspection is not only food but also in wood, etc. However, sometimes they miss to investigate the wood because the wood itself is used to be just to be case of the food. So I don't extra, but it's okay. Yeah, will be better for the next. Okay, next, survey cultural control, biological control, and then monitoring and detections. Okay, next.
So sorry to be constantly interrupting. I apologize. Taking advantage of your previous slide.
Okay.
The reason is that somebody online asked a question,
Mhm.
and I would like to respond to that question.
Mhm.
They asked if there are insecticides to control mosquitoes. And I don't know who asked that. I appreciate that question, and I would like to take this moment answer saying that Pachygus answer that.
Mhm.
There are many management strategies,
Mhm.
and none of them involves pesticides
Mhm.
It's because they don't work. So I don't know what answering, but thank you very much.
Oh, Pak Dodin. Yeah.
But yeah, pesticides in forest protection essentially don't work against
Yes.
forests. So
Yes.
most important is prevention and silvicultural treatments, meaning
Yes.
planting the right tree
Yeah.
in the right place that prevents. And biological control
Control. Yeah.
is in some cases is incredible. If it works, it would be.
Yeah. Start from 2014, private company invite me to investigate the angsana trees that mostly in Surabaya cities. More than 50% dying because of this Eucalyptus paraneus. And then they asked me which insecticide is suitable to be used to control that one. I mentioned it's difficult. However, they try to do that and they use many insecticides and mix many things. But it's not work. It's not work. Yeah.
Same probability system using same.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
And I would also add to move on, but I would also add that in the great majority of cases, the angsana there is not because of the beetle, but because of a pre-existing Fusarium straw.
Yeah.
People see that.
Yeah.
People see the beetles,
Yeah.
but that's like the vulture that's
Yeah.
on the horse.
Yes, correct.
They're all in there.
Yeah.
Sorry. So if anything, we could inject them the trees with the fungicide.
Yes,
not
correct.
insecticides.
Yeah.
But that's expensive.
Yeah. So that is I did already, but there is no combination between fungicide and also insecticide also didn't work at the time.
Okay,
Didn't work.
thank you.
But in the ancient time, in the traditional Japanese people, mostly in the road trees, mostly they use painting using using gypsum, right? Calcium. Sorry, calcium. We also try to use that. Actually, it's better, but it's not so effective to control. But Japanese people did that one, and it's better compared to the
In the traditional times,
traditionals.
year.
Yeah, yes, correct. Correct. My student did that, and then my student combined between one and then sulfur, etc. But it's not so effective. Okay, next. Yeah, invasive beetle can rapidly colonize the diverse ecosystem in Indonesia. But Pri already mentioned about invasive species appear in Indonesia many times. The new one he mentioned about Sporotra frugiberda. And previously also we also have many. But in case of forest, because we didn't, we mostly focus on agriculture. So we never investigate, we never evaluate, we never monitor about the forest pests. So maybe it's already happened in previous time. Maybe. Yeah. We have to do that. We have to monitor stuff from now on to make it. Okay, next. Yes, I think many institutions can collaborate with us. This is just one of examples. We have many universities, as Pak Jiri mentioned about Gajah Mada, or we have many universities in Indonesia. So I think if we want to do research in Indonesia, I think we need to collaborate not only one university, but we have to develop our collaboration with other universities. And of course, we have many researchers there, so it's better for us to ask them to be involved in this project. Okay, next. And also there's one international partner. Hopefully ASEAN also can can join in. This is how collaboration can work. First one is joint monitoring teams, and then forest biosecurity task force, and research and training hub, and also community engagement. Okay, next. This is examples. I just want to inform that ASEAN is one of the institution from Australia that contribute to forest and also agriculture. Hopefully, ASEAN also can help. Okay, next. Next. Okay, next. Oh. Biodiversity one Indonesia's greatest form of ecological wealth, not only ecosystem but also the being to its people. And we need to work to connect knowledge, people, and policies, and more. Let's build collaborative cooperation, inclusive cooperation, and resilient system to work. That's all I can do. Pak Sony want to give? No, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the Professor Agus for the nice presentation. Give us, okay. Okay, so now the time become expand to a little bit out of our prediction. Okay, and then we go to the next speaker, Professor Rosikon Abdul Ubaidillah. He is a research professor at Research Center for Biosystematics and Evolution at BRIN, and his expertise in entomology, mostly in insect biosystematic. And he got the doctoral degree from Department of Biology, Ibaraki University, Japan, and he got the master program from Imperial College, London University. So he has published many research papers and books, and also he is active in many editorial boards of journals, and also as a staff expert in several scientific organizations. So today, Professor Rosikon will present a speech on beneficial forest insect, parasitic webs as a potential biological control of ambrosia beetles in Indonesia. Okay, for Professor Rosikon, please use your time.
Thank you. Is my voice hearing?
Yes,
Honorable Bapak Dr. Andes, Ibu Dr. Delicia, Bapak Priyanto Rahmatullah from National Development Planning Agency, and Prof. Chiri and Prof. Agus, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, from that room and from the online. I just would like to present straightforward to the problem continue that Professor Chiri has mentioned. That is one important thing that we have to use the beneficial insect in the regard of the forest insect research collaboration between BRIN, UP Malang, and University of Florida, and probably other agencies. And I would like to present what is the parasitic was for controlling ambrosia beetle in Indonesia. The term of ambrosia actually, ambrosia beetle actually is not in the taxonomical grouping. It's more on the share of ecological perspective. And there are actually two subfamily, Scolytini and Platyponini. It's about 4,100 known species worldwide, which are ecologically involved independently many times within the different bugs beetle lineage. And unlike the ancestor of bug beetle, ambrosia beetle carry around spore of symbiotic fungi in special invasion and their excoleton. That is the important thing, that the association between the beetle and the fungi must be mentioned directly. That's caused many problems in many ornamental fruit and other commercial trees, like Prof. Chiri has mentioned in the earlier presentation. And they become tree decline or probably died. That is the one of that. And so therefore the ambrosia beetle important ecological role in the forest ecosystem that we are discussing this morning. I just would like to take one example from the Asian ambrosia beetle as an invasive species that have been spread out all of the world. There are 3 species that is most destructive species in the ornament tree and fruit tree and commercial trees. So what is the most important ambrosia in Indonesia or in an Asia and Indonesian perspective? That is, we have to discuss here, because the most important of the Ectasis ambrosia beetle so far is the tribe, actually the tribe of Siloperini. If they agree that is the most important, even the other, of course, other tribe is important, but we have to mention that. And it is largest tribe because this is largest tribe of ambrosia beetles. Mostly wood-boring beetle, that's as I mentioned, that associated with symbiotic fungi. The Siloperini are the most species-rich tribe with Scolytini, and know about 1,300 known species worldwide. And in Southeast Asia, 316 species in Southeast Asia. Please correct me if wrong, Prof.
You know, I will just mention one thing, which is that, like you mentioned, that identification key is available, and we have 316 species. Those resources are for continental Southeast Asia.
Yes.
We know very little about Sumatra,
Exactly.
Java,
Exactly.
Sulawesi.
Exactly.
No one has really studied that. So there's
and how many species are there in
probably
Indonesia?
double, probably, but we have no idea.
No idea. Nobody knows. So identification key only in Southeast Asian Siloperini is available, but other nothing.
Right.
So that is our challenge is serious. If we are working on that, we cannot say we just work with the ecologically, but we have to have a baseline study, if systematic study for the baseline.
I could not agree more. And I will also support your previous slide where you showed some of the most important ambrosia beetles, Silosandrus.
Yes.
Those 3 as far as I know, don't live in Java.
No,
However, as I was
No.
looking in the collection
it's
yesterday,
probably
there is one species that is very closely related to the Xylosandrus crassusculus, and it's local, native. It's called Xylosandrus cancellatus, and there are hundreds of it in the collection.
yes.
We know
I-
nothing about its relationship to trees.
So that's why I just give appetize.
I am very appetized.
Okay, we can continue. And the exact observable species is unavailable, of course, and they are poorly studied, as I mentioned before, and many are thought to be undescribed. About 70% is waiting for description. This is to be sure that I trust that this must be about 70% of that ambrosia beetle have not been described. Of course, as tropical country, Indonesia is likely to have the highest, not China, sorry, I just say the highest undescribed psilocybin species in the globe.
Mhm.
So
Probably.
this is many challenge. We have to recruit many new staff, new student
Or at least
to
one.
describe it.
Yeah.
I have already one.
All right, all right.
Yes. So there is currently no species identification for Indonesia. This is our challenge, and challenge species identification and recognition. Its biological and bioecological aspect is still need more work. We just working. Akmal and entomological team of BRIN work with the checklist of ambrosia beetle at museum, and we invite Professor Chiri to
Thank you.
to involve in that group. We already found that 40 known species and still around over two undescribed species, 20 undescribed species. And probably more. It is just collection that have been previously collected and deposited in MZP. So that is important starting point to work with ambrosia beetle in Indonesia. This is the checklist. So I'm going to talk about the parasitic moth associated with ambrosia beetle. As we know that parasitic as insect that live on our ambrosia beetle for some time before eventually killing the beetle. That is the principle. But there are about 6 families involved in that ambrosia: Petilidae, Braconidae, Eulophidae, Eupelmidae, Eurotomidae, Perilambidae, and Petromalidae. Currently, only 30% known associated with ambrosia. So still, there are many that have not been known. Some parasites and fungi have been distinguished as potential biological control. There is one of that on 2022. They have just started the release of one of parasite in Hawaii. Oh, yeah. So I will mention later. Some accurate identification and its geographical range are critical to determine the location where the natural enemies of ambrosia pest may be found. That is we have already worked on the preparation also, and Celia et al. With the team of entomology and BRIN have prepared the list of parasitic has reported to be parasitic on ambrosia beetle. There is about 30 something species. For example, the one of Tetrasticus celebrium, Eulophidae, and undescribed Petilidae were reported parasitic on Siloborus compactus found in Java. This, but there is no study in the later on. There's no study. This one, but Petilidae undescribed, and this one is Tetrasticus. There's also one of Pimasticus coffee, a biological control agent of coffee body butter that just released in the field in 2022 in Hawaii. There's a list that have been prepared. This is the parasite more, and I just want to pass. So the parasite is one of the candidate for biological control agent. One of this. Even there are many natural enemies like fungi, bacteria, and nematode that have been also studied to combat the bug beetle or ambrosia beetle in Indonesia. So I would like to propose how workflow of establishing workflow of ambrosia species, their parasite was, and its fungi associated. So I call discovery pipeline in Indonesia. There are no how many species or diversity of ambrosia beetle. No one knows parasitic was diversity and its fungi associated with ambrosia beetles. So we need to start on the species on specimen. So we start to get the species and collecting data. We have to need a photograph clearly and other source, checklist, catalog, and museum collection that Professor Chiri have mentioned earlier. And of course, we have to study morphology data, tissue culture, so we need extract DNA, PCR amplify DNA barcode, and sequence DNA barcode. So all of this to answer the question that we need, how many species are there and what is the real rule in Indonesia of ambrosia and how to manage the ambrosia beetle. So we will know the geographical distribution, valid species name, new species, new record, and what is host and habitat. So will be answered with the process of the workflow that I just giving here. So I'm of the establishing workflow for the discovery pipeline of Indonesia. For example, the major point actually focus on selected taxa, but not well-known group. But in fact, there are so many unknown groups. And approach, we have to focus on data, not just the name of the species. We have to consider stakeholders' expectation. We proceed via identification of pilot location as starting point. I don't know if we agree. We have to prefer the pilot location that have to be monitored for 5 years or 10 years, for example, especially for that kind of the starting how to understand the ambrosia visual. Especially we have to find the good forest, important ecosystem, easily accessible. We have to have research station close to BRIN and or to UB campus. So we have to prefer them. So we have just concentrated and then we expand to other, rather than we have to collect to everywhere, but we have to have baseline data first, then we expand to other island or other. So collection and data prior work by BRIN and UB researcher if are available, and also the collection from other museum of the world. So it is good for our source for the this study. So what is the target then for the developer for our pilot study? Question, how many species inventory ambrosia beetle, their parasite and fungi associated available? So we should delivering sound science and deliver species monitoring or species inventory. We need species description for Indonesian taxa, data to be made available a single platform if possible. And workflow, technology transfer and capacity building, outreach of that our pilot project and community ecology ambrosia, their parasite and its fungi associated diversity data. I just would like to how scheme of that workflow. So first of all, that we have to have sampling, field sample, and existing species in museum, or if we are working with the fungi, or we have to have culture collection for static one. And then after that, we have to process core facility, mounting, labeling, starting. I don't know whether in print or in UP, that's up to you all, but we have to have a core facility to processing the specimen and databasing. And then, of course, go to data acquisition, DNA imaging, databasing, etc. After that, we have to have data analysis, of course, and then identification, classification, and phylogeny for ambrosia beetle. And of course, the last is publication, description, new species, cataloging, rapid data preparation with any practical key, etc. Next, so that kind is mobilization accessing data from literature, from collection, as we mentioned that collection from any museum. And also we have to have digitization of that. If we have the digitization for all species that occur or found, then it is good thing to have deep knowledge about ambrosia beetle. So it is to support also for publication, etc. Next. Okay. I expect that 1,000 specimens will be processed at MZP University of Florida or UP for starting. It is possible to get 1,000 specimen ambrosia.
Easy.
So that's why I just
It's much easier than the permit for it.
Then it is if this easy, I just add one.
Yes.
Oh,
You know, one colony of Euplanibus parallelus has 100 babies.
yeah. It must be processed as soon as possible. So if we want back to work seriously, then we have to have that specimen for starting point. The data associated with voucher specimen are managed using Indonesian database. Should be nothing so connected with what Bappedas have and KLHK have. So Repository Ilmiah Nasional and international platform like NCBC, Gene Bank, Barcode of Life, probably possible, database, etc. So all specimens are routinely mounted, labeled, and photographed. Not 1,000, but 100,000 then. And all specimens will be repatriated to the MZP Indonesia culture. And also if there is fungi, then to Indonesian culture collection, print for permanent storage and partly in University of Florida and UP. It should be like that with the process. Okay, I would like to give the general aspect and consideration. The integration, Professor Hakus already mentioned for the collaboration and how to integration of new material with data existing, and collection will be a major challenging for the project. And innovation, of course, lies in using state-of-the-art techniques across a wide range of taxa. And responsibility, all biological material should be under permission of the authority of collect and transfer abroad using MDA. That is that we thought that more difficult to get that surat izin rather than the collection. Research project work should be taken seriously from the start. The project is about Indonesian ambrosia and should be largely conducted in Indonesia. United approach to data handling, starting with labeling of samples, etc., and then time frame. I just propose if there is a pilot project for choosing the one of the place that we have to get them deep view about ambrosia beetle. So it should be about 3 years pilot study if they agree. But this is easy for us to as I mentioned before, that should be choose a good forest, easily to access and close to our campus, or even in green or UB, is up to you all. Then sequencing and data storage is must be mentioned here, but that DNA extract and sequence is done at the BRIN, University of Florida, or UP, I don't know. So should be decided. Or in third-party sequencing barcoding service provider were chosen for speed and efficiency, usually more cheaper. But I don't know that. And all data remain intellectual property of Indonesia. So the result will be published in joint publication with all project collaborators. After publication, data will be accessible for researchers worldwide or globe. I think that is that I present and propose. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for Professor Rosikan for the presentation. Yeah, the presentation, I'm sure that we can increase our awareness of the biological control potential for the controlling the beetles, the ambrosia beetles. Okay, thank you very much, and give applause for the Professor Rosikan. Okay. Okay. Then we will have we will have a Q&A session. So last time I mentioned that we will have 2 questions that should be answered in this Q&A session. But unfortunately, because of the limited time, we cannot make 2 questions. But probably I just choose 1 question that related the intention of our meeting today, that we need to increase our collaboration platform in this area of the research. So I choose a good question from Bu Eva Sagi, that mentioned that I just read the question. I strongly agree that international collaboration is a way to go to solve some of the problems in invasive alien species management and biodiversity conservation. Zoological collection may also play an important role as a historical reference to the events of invasion and loss. However, in such a collaboration, sometimes access to benefit sharing is not equal for parties involved due to the different views on Nagoya Protocol implementation. I wonder if any of the speakers today can share the insights on this issue that might arise during collaboration and the subsequent method of mitigation. So I hope any speaker could respond to this question. Or do you get the point of this question? So maybe we can ask directly to the Bu Evi. Bu Evi, are you still there? Okay. Yeah. So maybe she's not here. So okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Madeline.
Hello, everybody. My name is Madeline Healy, and I am here. So I'm from Australia, and our project involves 6 partner countries, with Indonesia being one of those. To mitigate that risk, we, at the start of our project, came up with some protocols and agreements between everybody, which basically says that Australia is a partner to support the work that's happening in Indonesia. It's not our role to take any of those benefits away. But when it comes to the question around employer protocol implementation, we have said that everything that is collected within Indonesia is the ownership of Indonesia. It is up to our partners to decide what they will and will not do with that information, data, assessments, etc. Because this came up very, very early on in developing the project, where there would be a difference in ownership or who benefits from this data, particularly when it comes to issues around trade as well. So right from the get-go, we decided that we would put all of the ownership with the local partners where everything is being collected. And I would say that that is probably something that needs to be thought about very carefully, what everybody is comfortable with, have discussions quite early on and set out clear steps, protocols, so that you don't come into any of these issues as we go along. Now, it might be different for your work, but this is just the experience that we have had within our project.
If I may, I would be happy to follow up. Thank you. Where am I speaking? Where is the microphone?
Professor Jiri.
Is there a microphone here, or can people hear me? Hello? Oh, can people hear me? I don't know. Maybe, okay.
Yes.
This is Yuri again, and thank you for that question. In fact, I think that is sort of at the core of our meeting, to be honest, because it is a meeting to figure out distribution benefits from this kind of collaboration. And I would argue that first and most importantly, we should clarify what the benefits are. Because I would say an insect specimen is not a benefit. Insect specimen has to be translated into data, translated into a publication. The publication has to be rewarded, and it needs to be shareable with the rest of the world so that the broader scientific and quarantine community can also benefit from that. In other words, I actually think that, like when I had that funny picture of the puppet stealing an insect, I actually, frankly, don't think it's about the insects at all. I feel that it is largely the conversations that we are having about who gets the benefit are really about national sovereignty, and it has to be acknowledged as such and appreciated. I honestly don't think that many Indonesians care about the insects, to be honest. I think there are a lot of us who do, but I don't think that's the main problem. I suspect that the problem is that if the broader scientific community from the world, remove the source of data, that it's the fact that there is no follow-up, that local scientists are not really taken onto the journey from the material to the data to the publication. And so I think if we define what the benefit is, it'll be much easier for everyone to agree on that. And partly why I'm here is to learn what the benefits are to you all. What is it that you would like to get from a collaboration? I don't really know that, to be honest, and I would love to know, is it joint publications? Is it grant money? Is it the bugs on pins? That I'm skeptical. I don't think that's the benefit, right? I think it's actually the things that help you in your careers. And interestingly, once we clarify that, some of these things are less problematic than we think. Writing a joint publication is actually not that difficult if we really are serious about this, and if we are serious about collaboration. We already have 2 since October. It's not that difficult if we define that that is our joint interest. And then I think we could start understanding that sort of regulating the insects or the fungus or that biological material might actually not really hold any benefits back in Indonesia. Because if they're not translated into the actual benefits to the careers of the individual researchers, it's as if they never existed. And And so that is what I would like to do. And I would love to hear your responses. What are the benefits that you would like to get from a collaboration like this?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for Ms. Madeline and Professor Giri. Okay, so for WFE, for the WFE, I hope if you would like to get more mutual understanding about this collaboration, so it's better that we have sit together and discuss and clarify and make it clear for the collaboration that we would like to make. Okay, I think yeah, it is thanks from the UBAV for the response. So thank you for the all presenters that have present today. So this is the end of my session. After this, I would like to give to the MC, and thank you very much for the participant in this session. And once again, I'm really sorry. Yeah, we are really sorry for the technical problems during the session. Okay.
Is this the end of the Q&A session? Or
it is end of the Q&A session because because of the limited time, so we cannot address all the questions. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So most question, all of the question will be addressed to all of the speakers, and then we will communicate with the yeah. Okay.
I also wonder if it's possible, like, to react to some interesting ideas that talk about.
Okay.
I don't know what's the sign or platform. Yeah, now or later, I'm thinking, follow up or go with the flow. So I just make sure that we don't forget those because they're important.
Okay.
Would it be later? Okay, later. Thank you.
Yeah, because after this we have the focus group discussion, and also the time is not enough. So yeah, I hope that all of the participants can understand that we cannot address all their response. And after this, yeah, please contact us, and then we try to respond the questions. Is it okay? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Once again, thank you very much for the participation, and I will give this to the MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for all speakers for the insightful presentation, and thank you also for Dr. Titi Kartika for the monitoring this session. We hope that collaborative research on the ambrosia beetle can be initiated and progress as soon as possible. Now, for Bapak dan Ibu, please don't leave the Zoom yet. We want to take picture the participant in Zoom meeting first. Please open your camera. Can someone help me? Okay, I will take a picture first. Bikin ininya. Yang masa semua ini. Okay, I will take pictures. Okay, please wait.
Udah, Bu.
Okay, then following this, we conclude today's online seminar. All the participants are allowed to leave the Zoom room. Thank you for your participation. Maybe
Terima
applause
kasih.
for the speakers.
Makasih
Thank
sama-sama.
you.
Makasih, makasih.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Terima kasih.